What's up, everyone? So today we're going to be talking with IntelBroker, who's basically a pretty famous threat actor who's broken into a lot of different places, a lot of government places. I've known him for a while. He's actually a fan of the channel, which blew my mind when I actually first started a correspondence with him on BreachForums. But yeah, let's get to it. So, first and foremost, the name IntelBroker. What made you use it?
I'm focused on leaking government intelligence data. That's why. I just chose it because it looked cool, to be honest.
Why'd you come up with it?
Got drunk one night and decided on it.
Yeah, okay. For anyone who knows him, he definitely enjoys a drink every now and then, we'll say. Now, your hacking group is called Cyber. Why make that name choice, man?
It originally wasn't me who made it. I was invited during BF 1.0. I just took up the name after BF 1.0 was taken down.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough, right? So how long do you actually see the group being around for?
Literally 2022 November time. I just finished my studies and my job took a nosedive. I needed money, so I started looking for places that accepted data that I had to sell.
The people that are actually in the hacking group, are they people you actually know, or is it just like a loose-knit group of people?
I know of them. We don't actively talk, and we're not in some group chat. It's just people I'd want to collaborate with often.
Did you have any mentors or influential figures who actually guided you and in your early days, led you to this?
Kevin Mitnick. He would be the influential figure that I looked up to.
So did you have any internal motivations for getting involved in the whole hacking scene and whatnot?
Money and needing to deal with rent and living expenses.
Yeah, that's fair. How did you go about actually developing your skills in hacking and cybersecurity?
Asperger's.
Okay. It wasn't the answer I was expecting. If you had to recommend 3 resources for people who are trying to break into the scene, what would they be? And why would they be that?
Alcohol, autism, and narcissism.
Okay. I think at least one of those isn't really voluntary. Okay. Are you familiar with DEF CON at all? The actual, the hacking con, not the military thing.
I am. I'd love to go to it. I really do. But as you know, I can't and won't be able to for a long time. Maybe until I die, I won't be able to go to the USA.
I do know. And yeah, it sucks not being able to do something that you really want to do, especially when it's something that revolves around your passion. So I totally get that. What were some of the earliest projects or hacks that you did, and did you learn anything specific from them?
Anything that was related to ransomware. If I was somewhat informed about the currency events, I'd have known that using anything to do with ransomware is a big issue, mostly due to companies not paying ransom.
Nice. Hopefully we got some people that are involved with Lockbit that are watching. Maybe you take something away from that. But now you're seasoned, right? You're kind of like an old fart in the seat or OG or whatever you want to call it. If you could give advice to your younger self, right? Like a younger IntelBroker, what would you say to that younger version of yourself?
Don't get involved with ransomware, no matter what. There's hardly any money to be made, and developing it yourself won't work. Even if it works, there's no point.
No doubt. So really hate ransomware. Okay. Okay. I think everyone does, right? To some extent, I just don't think people have experience with it. So based on that then, what tools or techniques did you actually rely on the most during your early years?
Network tools within Firefox, PACU, WinSCP for Windows RDPS.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's not like a fancy OS or anything crazy like that. My favorite distro, but personally, is Mint as a daily driver. Now for hacking, it's Kali. And now I've come from a long line of Backtrack fans. What about you? What's your favorite distro?
It has to be Qubes OS. The privacy features it involves are crazy, and I like the level of paranoia it supports.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Your threat model is going to demand it. Totally. How do you deal with competition or rivalry, fellow threat actors? Is Is that actually a thing in your world?
It's not a thing. Unlike other actors, I congratulate any other threat actor on hitting a big score. Why hate?
Can you discuss any of the actual involvement in hacktivism or politically motivated attacks?
None. I'm not interested in politics or forcing my politics on people.
Surprisingly refreshing. Yeah. I think we need more of that in this world, just in general, especially in the States. But yeah, that's nice. It's a nice thing to be kind of politics free in this era. So what's your favorite crypto and why?
XMR. On its own, the privacy is supreme.
But as soon as I heard the OS, you kind of know it's a given, right? Now, I also remember seeing the Europol breach that you did a while back now and kind of laughing about it, as they tend to love to put up banners when they take down Darknet markets. So it was actually really funny kind of seeing them have to eat what they serve, always seeing takedown banners. Obviously, they didn't have a takedown banner, but they lost a ton of their own information. Would you like to say, what's the point of actually hacking international law enforcement? And for those of you that don't know, Europol is like a conglomerate of a bunch of different federal police agencies. I think it's like 48 or something like that. But it's a good amount of federal agencies that are all actually coming together. So when you hit that, it's like kicking a bee's nest, essentially. But why hit them?
Why not? F them. They're evil and don't deserve to live. They need to be punished for attacking the BreachForums community. They commit crimes daily, but we're not allowed to? Talk about double standards.
So say right now you can get root any place, including corporations and governmental entities. What would be the top 3 that you would want?
EA, DICE, and Nestlé for certain. They are the root of all evil. Being American.
It's the biggest impact that you've seen from one of your actual attacks.
Cisco. They were so slow to respond to our claim of their breach. They kept denying any sort of leak. When we provided Bleeping Computer with information on our access, only then did they remove our access.
I remember seeing that on Twitter. They were just not having it. They just would not admit it. That was pretty hilarious. They ended up actually finally breaking, but it took them a long time to actually get to that point. That was really interesting seeing. Yeah. So what actually drives you to continue going in this field, specifically going out there and hacking law enforcement and hacking major corporations and all these different major targets? That it's very much a David and Goliath game. What drives that?
Autism and money.
Okay. All right. So typically, when we hear the name IntelBroker, we also hear about Five Eyes. Can you kind of shortly explain what that is for the people who might not know, and how it's actually relevant or relates to you?
It probably has to do with the fact that the Five Eyes made a notice about my person of interest. If not, then it could be to do with my space eyes and acuity breach, which exposed information about the Five Eyes.
So basically, you've kind of just kicked the hornet's nest so many times that you're really not sure of why it is that it's actually relevant to. So, okay, yeah, it's a fair enough assumption. I guess all of those are plausible, right? So then in that case, how do you balance your personal life with your activities as a threat actor, keeping those kind of separate and having some kind of balance?
I used to engage with breaching almost my entire daily activities. Now, I'm having burnout, so it means I have more time to spend enjoying hobbies.
I think one of the most important things in life is your loved ones, right? So, do any of your loved ones or people in your life actually know that you're a world-class threat actor?
No, to a certain degree. One does, but no one else.
Yeah, I figured as much. Are there any personal or professional codes of conduct that you kind of have, or that you follow, or that even if you're in a group, you like to kind of intertwine in your operations?
No attacking hospitals or children care companies or products. DC HealthLink was different because I considered them not to be involved because I was hitting a key Congress platform.
So how do you view the current state of cybersecurity from that perspective of an actual attacker that's going out there and doing like real real stuff. I mean, this isn't like cracking your neighbor's Wi-Fi. Like, you're doing major things.
Poor. Breaches are always happening. It will take some godly company to release a product that prevents such attacks from threat actors from happening.
There are definitely a lot of misconceptions when it comes to hackers. And like, for anyone who knows anything about it besides Hollywood, what Hollywood's shown, they tend to realize when they start to get into it that there's way more than just typing really fast on having multiple monitors. What do you think are some of the most significant misconceptions specifically about threat actors?
We're all assholes. Some that I've spoken to are really, really down-to-earth people and kind of nice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that 100%. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to some really intelligent, interesting people. Some of the most interesting, I'd say, that do that. Now, say hypothetically tomorrow, like Tor dies, what overlay network for anonymity, not privacy, would you switch to, and why would you switch to it?
I wouldn't switch from what I currently use. I don't openly use Tor, as it was developed by the U.S. Navy, as well as having many nodes and bridges owned by law enforcement.
Not really an answer, but I guess we'll take it. What advice would you give to someone that was actually looking to defend against threat actors like you?
Use IP whitelisting and don't disclose your FIDO2 auth settings. Even then, you'll still lose, but I won't disclose all my tricks.
Is there any way that you self-rationalize, or how do you justify your actions? Or do you?
None at all. I'm a criminal, a racist, and highly prolific when it comes to leaking people's information.
How do you handle the moral and the ethical implications that can come from doing this kind of stuff?
If it's American, then I'll hit it. If it's something to do with a protected group, such as a hospital, I won't hit it. I'd like to say it's being morally normal.
So you're selective with your targets, basically. You're saying you're selective with your targets, and then morality's, it's a non-starter in that case. Yeah, that makes sense. So have you ever considered leaving like this world of cybercrime? If so, like, what would prompt that actual decision?
I'm getting close to it, having extreme burnout and wanting to pursue a job in red teaming or programming and setting up a future. Perhaps a child would be great.
That's awesome. Like, I would be happy to see that IntelBroker name retired and see you move on to better pastures, things that don't worry about getting raided or worry less anyways. But what are your favorite 3 sites as a threat actor?
Access.is, BreachForums, or Exploit.
That makes sense. All right. So, like, what has been some of the most rewarding aspects of your career as a threat actor?
And definitely the Cisco leak, or the space-size breach I conducted. That was crazy. The AT and T-Mobile leak that I did was also crazy. Sadly, I sold the data and then deleted it, as it's per what I usually do.
So, without giving out too much, can you discuss any future thrillers or any plans that you may have in the works, or any interesting targets that you're looking at in the future?
I have none. I act randomly and randomly hit random targets and companies. It really varies.
It's a very good answer. It's a very good answer. How do you want to actually be remembered in the world of hacking and threat actors and cyber threats?
Supreme Honest.
Of course. Yes. Of course. I'm not sure what else I was expecting with that question, but what final piece of advice could you give to those entering the field of security or cybersecurity or SOC analyst or whatever, like people that are getting into security? What advice would you give them?
Don't have the drive to become a big, scary, famous hacker. It's not worth it. The mental stress and paranoia you'll suffer isn't worth it.
Yeah. It is all fun and games, right? When people see it from the outside, but it does suck being hunted. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that we haven't actually covered yet?
Subscribe.
Yeah, definitely, right? Like, that's a given. You should. Well, thank you for speaking. Really appreciated the back and forth. IntelBroker has been around for a little bit now, and it's been my sincere hope that at some point he does retire, because living that kind of life, it's not one that has a prolonged longevity to it. It's not something that I really want for anyone, but especially someone who has that intelligence. And we've kind of discussed on the channel, and I've talked a lot about this in the past, that when you have people like Darknet vendors, Darknet market admins, or pretty much anyone who puts a ton of time and effort into building up a name or a reputation or a business and doing something and doing it very well, or having to manage multiple things. And that's just as true for a threat actor as it is for like a darknet market admin or a darknet vendor. They all have all these different like kind of loose ends that they have to keep in and keep tucked in. And that's kind of like their OPSEC. It's all their information trying to leak out and they're trying to keep it in. I think anyone who can do that can almost do anything business wise. It opens up an amazing floodgate of possibilities that we can try or we can do or we can experiment with. And it's always good for me to see someone get out of that life. I think some of the happiest moments that I've had is people writing me, telling me, hey, I was going to be a vendor, or I was going to do something like this or that, or I was considering it. And I watched some of your videos and I decided not to. And again, it's not because I think that's the right thing to do, or I'm not going to tell anyone what they should do, because it's none of my business. He's had a very long run and he's done exceptionally well, going from not even being heard about to ended up owning and running BreachForums for a prolonged period of time until he got tired of it and just ended up stepping down and going and chilling out. So that whole time, though, I've been not the entire his whole career, but I have been speaking with him, and I'm personally glad to see someone like that chill out, and I do hope that he is able to relax and find happiness and find peace in his life, because I think that he deserves it, just like I think the vast majority of people out there deserve it. So it'll be interesting to see if we see him anymore. As of the making of this, he's been kind of quiet lately. That could be the sign, right? That could be the retirement of the Intel broker. I kind of hope it is. But thank you for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.